and bipolar. What? So today we're gonna get a little serious. Not fully serious because it's me. Today I want to chat with you guys about being a bipolar mom. What is bipolar disorder? Let me tell you. Bipolar disorder is basically a mood disorder where you get extreme highs and very depressive lows. And the bummer about bipolar, right, is that it has no cure. So you're pretty much living with it for the rest of your life. There are medications out there that can keep it in check, so that's a good thing. So I'll just give you a little backstory. I am bipolar. What? My bipolar really started kicking in when I was about 13 years old. Things just got a little crazy, a little weird, a little not normal. My mom also has bipolar disorder. I blame you, Mom. I'm kidding, I don't blame her. I have been unmedicated for probably about 6 years now, by choice. The type of bipolar I have, because there are multiple types, I think the typical bipolar is basically the waves of highs and lows will last like days or months at a time, and then it'll switch. And I have a fancy type of bipolar that is called rapid cycling, which means that within, at least for me personally, within a matter of seconds and minutes within a day, I will go from to that. That's what I go to. So a lot of people don't really understand how I'm able to manage it, and I've even had some people think that I've just gotten rid of it somehow, which I have not. Trust me, it's still there. I wasn't happy with how I was on medication. I just felt really gray. Like I didn't have any like yay moments or sad moments. I was just kind of like in a blurry middle. Oh girl, that's what you needed. Yeah, 2 of them. So I'll get really personal with you guys. I unfortunately dealt with being suicidal and self-harm. It is what it is. I learned from it. I don't regret it. That's where we're at. But my pivotal moment that made me decide that I needed to get a handle on it was I had an episode one day, ended up punching myself in the face and gave myself a black eye. Yeah, I literally punched the sense into myself. I don't recommend it. My boyfriend at the time looked at me and told me, you know, I could have you put away right now. And you know what? He was totally right. So from that moment on, I knew I had to figure something out. I had to either get back on medication or figure out how to manage it, because that is just not a way to live your life. So of course, you know, like having that kind of struggle can make it scary to be responsible for 1 and 2 other human beings. But if you can get a handle on it, you can do it. My mom was bipolar. Actually, didn't even know she was bipolar. And guess what? I turned out just fine. Sorry, Mom. Here are some tips on how I personally manage my bipolar. If you're bipolar out there, honestly, I love being able to lend a helping hand where I can if you need somebody to talk to, so reach out. I don't mind. Let me just disclaimer. It took me like a year or 2 to actually get this down. Like it was not an overnight process. There were really, really tiny baby steps to get to the point that I am now. But don't let it discourage you. It'll take time if you have to try. But basically, I have to recognize an episode is happening as it's starting to happen. That is the biggest thing. Ever heard the phrase, you can't fix a problem until you know there is one? Bingo. Basically, I kind of have a system whenever I go through one of my episodes. I either go from being very happy and productive and energetic and just crazy to either all of a sudden sad and crying and not wanting to move or do anything, or I have an angry episode in between. So I'll go really energetic, then I'll start getting really aggressive, and then I get really sad. It's beautiful. So once I recognize it's happening, I start to work on deep breathing, legitimately, I try not to engage with anyone else. I just focus on that breathing. So as I'm doing that deep breathing is when I start to try my hardest to change my thinking and change the course in which it's going. And it takes a lot of work to change the train of thought that your brain is on. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of self-control. But I have to actively focus on redirecting my thoughts, and I typically try to redirect it to something constructive. You know, like giving myself some kind of task or focusing on a better way to communicate what I'm going through, if any of that makes sense. And if I am around somebody when I'm having an episode, typically my husband, sorry Jim, I make it a very, very important point to say out loud to him that I am having an episode and to be patient with me while I'm working through it, because then he knows I'm working through it. He gives me time to figure it out, and there's not like an ongoing argument or frustration there. It helps me, and I think it helps him. Like, he knows I'm having an episode. He knows I'm having an episode. But now he knows that I'm aware of it and I'm trying to fix it. And then occasionally there's so much just emotion pent up inside that I need to just let myself cry for a little bit just to feel better. So I just let a few tears out, but the trick is I will not let myself cry for more than like a few minutes. Because then at that point it becomes a repetitive cycle where you kind of keep throwing this pity party in your head, or you say that like, I don't know, you keep stuck in this continuous cycle where you keep just wanting to cry and you keep feeling like you have to cry and that you have no control of it or what have you. So I will not let myself cry for more than a few minutes. As far as the negative effects it has on me and my mom duties, I'm not perfect. Yes, I have a very good handle on it, but I'm not perfect, and it interferes with mom life sometimes, unfortunately. But it's never gotten too drastic. If it did, trust me, if I had to get on medication, I would. There's a few ways that it gets in the way. One is if I do have like a bout of depression where I just don't really want to do anything, I don't want to interact, I don't want to function, and honestly, I just want to lay in bed and cry all day. You can't do that with kids. You know, it kind of makes you temporarily unable to take care of your kids, and that's not a good thing. I had a really cute moment one day where I was crying and I was sad and I was sitting in a chair and in another room by myself, and Piper came in and she looked at me and she said, "Crying?" And I said, "Yeah." She left the room, she went out, and she went to Dada and said, "Dada, Mama crying," and brought him in to help take care of me. Which makes me want to cry thinking about it, because that was just like the sweetest thing ever. If I have that moment where I have a bout of anger, no, I have never hit either of my kids with excessive force at all. No. Little things here and there. Sometimes I will overreact to certain situations, which is never good, because as a parent, you don't want to do that. I will say though, I make it a point every time, not like they're that often, but every single time I sit down and I tell her that I am sorry, that mommy was wrong for acting that way, and that I'm sorry. I have no shame in apologizing to my own kids when I do something that I should not have done. I don't think any parent should have that shame. Weirdly enough, there are positives to being a bipolar mom. First off, toddlers are little bipolar people. If you really think about it, they are. 1 minute, they're happy, they're running around, they're having a grand old time, and the next minute, they're sitting in a corner crying, and you're not really sure why, and you can't really communicate with them because they're crying so hard they're just babbling. I have to put a wrap on this video soon. See, we're not happy. The second good thing about being a bipolar mom is that I actually have taught myself like various calming techniques, and I use that on my own kid. We focus on deep breathing. She knows that taking deep breaths will make her feel better. also try to get her to refocus on something constructive whenever she is having like an emotional breakdown. Doesn't work well on babies though, because they don't get it. I'm big on talking to her on her level, so I won't stand up and talk down to her. I'll get down low on the floor, and I will use language that she understands, like words that she knows and uses to explain a situation and calm her down that way. Big, you don't know words, I can't calm you yet. Anyway, this is mom life. That's pretty much it for this video. I'd love to know what you think, and if you'd like me to do more of these. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.